afternoon, Sauk Valley sports fans. This is Sauk Valley Media sports editor Dan Waisner alongside assistant sports editor Christopher Heimerman. We are bringing you the first installment of SVM's Pigskin Primer Show. Each week we will come to you from a different location. This week we're at A.C. Bowers Football Field in Dixon, Illinois, where we will be featuring the game of the week, which is the Dixon Dukes hosting the United Township Panthers. We have 12 games in week 1. 8 of them are all road games outside of the Sauk Valley. So if you're a Sauk Valley football fan, you might have to do some traveling. I think you're going to see we're going to have more playoff teams this year than we did last year. My prediction, probably about 7 or 8. And it all gets kicked off this Friday. We'll start with Dixon Dukes. Christopher, what do you see happening Friday night?
Well, I mean, when you're looking for a game of the week, you're looking for a couple of things. You're looking for a competitive matchup, that level playing field, and you're looking for a little bit of history. And this game's got both of those things going on. And you got a couple of teams that are really starved for some success, and I think when we talk about Dixon, whether it be football or hoops or a lot of their programs, they seem to have the right people in place to sort of change that culture and to expect victories. And so you've got two teams. You look at UT, they haven't had a winning season since 01. They haven't won 4 games in a season since 2003. Dixon, meanwhile, you just go back to 2006. They had 8 victories, so it's not that far out. You can't possibly overestimate the importance of getting out there week 1 and setting the tone with that first victory. And you look at last year in East Moline, these teams got together. They've been doing it for a few years now, alternating sites. And Dixon actually, you talk about a level playing field. Well, they didn't make it look that way. They ran it up 126-0. And now you've got a couple of brand new quarterbacks under center, whereas Scott Goad ran all over the Panthers last year and threw all over them, ended up with 253 total yards. This year you got a brand new quarterback under center and J.D. Geeson for your Dukes. And then on the other side of the football, you've got Nick Pearson, who's going to sling it for the Panthers and run the ball a bit too. So brand new teams, but I think we're going to have a whale of a football game.
Well, what I remember is 2 years ago, United Township came here to Dixon. They had a new coach. They were on, I think, a 2-year losing streak. At least 18 games. New coach, new attitude. They came out and they upset the Dukes in that one. Sort of like last year with the Dixon. And even though Dixon ended up 2-7, I think most people felt that last season was a step forward. I think you're going to see another step forward for Dixon this year. It may not necessarily result in the playoffs, but I think you'll see 3 wins or 4 wins. What are the Dukes going to be built around this year? I mean, they're a young group, especially in the skill positions.
Yeah.
It seems like defensively, maybe that's what they're going to hang their hat on.
I would certainly think so. Yeah, I mean, they've got some really solid linemen. Up front, the leader on both sides of the football is going to be Jared Fry. I mean, you don't want to think too far ahead or prognosticate too much, but you just look at that young man. A very solidly built football player, good technique, great leadership skills, and no lack of confidence either. When he chatted with Brian Weidman for the season preview on the Dukes, he challenged the fans, come out, watch us play, see what we're capable of before, you lump us in with the past few years of Dixon football that couldn't quite get over that hump, couldn't quite turn those near misses into wins.
Well, and that's when Dixon's had a success, it's been through the offensive and defensive lines. When they made the playoffs in 2008, you had guys like Adam Devine and John Phillips, I believe, was on that team. They were guys that really controlled the line of scrimmage. A lot of them were guys that went through the track program, the throws program with Rich Lawton, and they built from there. And they had good skill position players, but more importantly, they had skill position players that could find the hole, hit the hole, and get those 5- and 6-yard gains, and eventually you would break that big one. I think we're coming to the point now where we have to kind of make our bold predictions for this game. How do you see this one playing out, Chris?
I really think it's going to be a great football game. One of our colleagues over at the Moline Dispatch, Daniel McCarowitz, was gracious enough to kind of share their scouting report on the Panthers with me. I think that East Moline is going to come here, or United Township is going to come here with a chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to give them a good game. I still say I think Dixon wins by a touchdown and change. If I had to put a number to it, I would say Dixon. Let's see, Dixon 20, United Township 12.
Yeah, I was looking at something like Dixon 16, UT 6 or 8. I think Dixon's defense is just going to be pretty darn solid, especially these first few games. A lot of times you see that the defenses are maybe a little bit more ready to play. The offense takes a couple games to kind of get that timing down. So Could be a low-scoring affair, but you never know. Somebody could emerge and be this year's Scott Goad, and that's kind of the excitement of high school football, because you just never know.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Now we'll be sending it to our other sports reporters in the office, who will be talking about 3 or 4 other local games in the area. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next week.
See you at the games.
This is Brian Weidman, Sauk Valley Media sports reporter, and I'm here to preview the Newman at St. Bede football game on Friday night. That'll be 7:30 p.m. at Peru St. Bede High School. Should be a very good game. Last year, St. Bede gave Newman their only regular season loss. That was 20-18, and Newman's Chris Breed had a chance to win the game for Newman. Was unable to connect on a field goal. Chris Breed is back, as well as a lot of key Newman players. They are ranked number 3 in the preseason. That shows that Newman's program has a lot of respect. St. Bede also has a lot of kids back from last year's team. St. Bede went 9-3 last year, lost to Freeport-Acquin in the quarterfinals of the 1A playoffs. Coach John Bellino is much like Newman coach Mike Poposi, kind of an institution at their schools. Both teams put out quality teams each year. This first week game should be a very important game in the Big Rivers Conference. My prediction for this week's game, I think Newman is going to be too much for St. Bede. I think they will win 21-7.
This is Sauk Valley Media sports reporter Larry Brennan previewing the Week 1 matchup between the 5th-ranked Sterling Golden Warriors and the Moline Maroons. Sterling was 9-2 a year ago. Moline was 6-4. The teams met in the 2011 opener in Sterling, and Moline was a 21-6 winner. This year, Sterling has first-year head coach John Schlemmer taking over for a long-time coach Greg King, the Sterling athletic director. And Schlemmer promises to pass the ball more, and we'll see if that takes place in the opener on Friday night at Moline. I am going to take Moline in a 17-7 win in this Week 1 battle.
This is Ty Reynolds, sports reporter at Sauk Valley Media, here to preview this week's game between Milledgeville and Polo in Polo. Milledgeville has a 20-game losing streak and is looking to snap that, while Polo has a 3-game winning streak in the series of the rivalry between the two teams that are 10 miles apart. Last year, Milledgeville was 0-9, Polo was 1-8, and Polo's lone win was Milledgeville. It was 34-8. In Week 1, they led 21 at halftime and never looked back. This year, both teams should be evenly matched and have several returning starters. A lot of kids that started last year were underclassmen. I'm looking for a very competitive game, but Polo will pull it out 26-22.